Loaded day today, and a very, very exciting day for us as we kick off yet again another episode here at the Southern Sports Scene. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lucas Hill. I am the host of the Southern Sports Scene. Make sure y'all do us a favor, hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Want to thank our friends real fast over at Frost Buddy. Use our link in the description below. Use code SSS15 at checkout to get 15% off of all tumblers, mugs, etc. Also want to thank our friends at Chike Nutrition. Get in the best shape possible of 2026. Make it count and start off your mornings right with the best coffee out there with 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 1 gram of fat. Use the link below. Get yourself 10% off of all Chike Nutrition products with over 10 new flavors. Jack Settleman, CEO and founder of Snapback Sports, is joining us. We got a lot to discuss today, a lot on the business side of college football that we get to talk about. So, Jack, man, I appreciate you hopping on with us. How's this last week been? Obviously, the NCAA officially approved you guys with the jersey patches. And 100K might be going to a couple of schools over the next few months. So, man, good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, it's exciting times. On Friday, the NCAA approved on uniform sponsorship. Last August, or last July rather, LSU announced that they were planning on doing an on uniform sponsorship. It ended up not getting approved by the NCAA, not LSU or the brand specifically, just the idea of it. But in that time period before it didn't get approved, we went out and put out a bounty for 100 grand to a school, the best school, that wanted Snapback Sports on their jersey. And you follow us, Lucas, so you know that we not only bring the money, which is great, but we bring the awareness, the attention, the content, the creativity, all of that. And so I felt like wrapped up in there is also a ton of value. Now, I'm sure some people with our distribution and content would be like, we can do it for free. In exchange, we'll give you this content. I don't think that was going to land. So I said, no, we'll pay, but we want to do it big and we want to have it, done in the right way. So now that the NCAA has approved it, we're back out in the market looking for the best college football team for us to put our Snapback Sports hat on their uniform.
You guys got really big over the last year. So you've had guys like content creators like Icy Vert. That's
Mhm.
extreme. That's probably one of your more popular content creators that you guys have. Just talk to me about their impact, not just in college football, but in sports in general, in helping you guys grow as a media company. Because you guys are one of the fastest growing companies over the last year and a half. I'm telling you, I didn't even hear of you guys until this past football season. And then boom, you guys have just blown up so
Yeah.
much.
We're the classic overnight success that's taken 8 years to break out, right? That's every good company has that. So yeah, I started the company in 2017. I was a senior at University of Texas. I got my Longhorns, and when people ask me who's the dream school to sponsor, I say it is the Longhorns, but I don't think 100K is going to get the job done. I think that's 1 week of pay for Arch Manning these days. But yeah, we've gone through many iterations and that been trying to find ourselves for years and years. And I would say over the last 4 years, we realized a couple of things. One, original content. Two, YouTube is going to be a really great platform for us, and three is like actually getting out in person and meeting with the community and doing those types of things. On the grounds content just goes that much further. So Vert's been amazing for us. Timmy K has been a superstar for us. Everyone that kind of touches our platforms. But a major thing is like this combination of the brand and the personalities. And like at ESPN, you have the brand. At ESPN, you also have the personalities, right? But there's only, in my opinion, only a few of them that like really feel ingrained in the brand, and they're only ingrained in the brand because of the pay. And it's not that we don't pay our guys. We pay our guys, but we don't pay them Kirk Herbstreit money. So they love the opportunity that Snapback as a platform kind of affords them, and we love the amazing work and all the travel and time away from the family that they're putting in. So yeah, Icy Vert, shout out my guy on Twitter. It feels like a platform that's super valuable in the sports ecosystem for sure.
So let's get into this topic. The 100,000 bounty that you are putting onto college football teams. We've heard some interest. East Carolina was from last year and still could potentially be that. You guys still have that relationship. ULM, which I put out a tweet about it earlier. I thought initially that this was the sealed deal, and then I reached out to you and said, no, it's just interest.
Yep.
Is there still legality stuff that you guys got to get behind?
No, that's not why it's not a sealed deal. When I say commitment, what I mean is we put this bounty out, and ULM had said that is in our price range, and we're serious, and we want to talk, right? So that I can get where that was misconstrued. I tried to kind of clear that up online, and we're only going to do one school, so we're not going to have 100K here, 100K here. We want to go really deep with the school we pick. No legality issues with ULM. We're just in the early days and we're in the process
Right.
because one of the things that, naturally this stuff's going to take a little bit of time contract wise and figuring out the details. It's a first of its kind of deal. But the other thing is when I say the best school for us, obviously we want performance on the field because that's going to, garner more viewership and be more fun story. But I want to go to ULM. I want to meet SJ, the AD. I want to talk to locals and be like, hey, do you guys love ULM football? Or if sometimes you go out to these Cali schools and USC, the brand is as big as it can be. But at the same time, they've got Hollywood, they got superstar. USC football can be an afterthought. And then we go to Montana, we go to Missoula, and it's whoa.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters in Missoula is the Grizz, and the only thing that matters in Bozeman is the Cats, right? And so is that the feel we're getting at ULM? When we were at Coastal Carolina early in September, I met Chance Miller, the AD there. He's so forward thinking. He would be a perfect partner for something like this. And SJ at ULM, he feels very similar to Chance. So yeah, we're just in the early days, but no legality, and Sunbelt is kind of signed off on it. If we were to move forward. So yeah, it's just the process phase that we're in right now. And then we are garnering, as much interest as we can.
I think what's so cool about this is that you talked about already the market that is in USC. It's surrounded by some of the biggest names in all of the world. There's
Yeah.
sponsorships coming in from there and there. It's hard to compete in that area. But then you talked about the small markets like your Montanas or your Idahos, the different states that not a lot of brand sponsorships are going to be there. That's where you start making those relationships. And that's what I really like. Now, I will tell you, I'm from Louisiana, so I know a good bit about the Monroe
Okay.
area.
Okay.
It is one ULM, I think, might be one of the most underfunded programs in all of college football. It's,
Yeah.
well, not even just college football, college athletics, mostly because of their history. But at the same time, too, I would love for the engagement of fans to be more involved with ULM. Because you think about some of the past players that have been there. Ahmad Hardy, who came from there last year. You saw what he's done with Missouri. I think if ULM were to target more of their history and promote it more, I think they get a lot more funding from the locals, from different businesses. And I think that's their biggest problem right now is that I don't know if they know how to reach out to, the local markets out there. I think they're losing some money off of that. And that's why I think there's a lot of people that have said that maybe they should drop down to the FCS level. Me personally, I would not, I don't want that to happen for them. I really like watching them in the Sun Belt Conference. I really think they can be competitive in the Sun Belt Conference. I love their head coach. I covered their college football program last year. Love Bryant Vincent. Love this vision. I think that what SJ has for the future of athletics is really good. And I think if you work with people like that, you're going to put yourself in a very good position. But I know at the end of the day, it's not just about, them getting exposure. It's about you guys eventually putting your mouth where you're putting your money where your mouth is, in a sense,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
No, totally. And this is what I mean by I want to learn more. Like, I didn't know about the history. I didn't know they're underfunded. I didn't know, what they could look like if they were properly funded or if we gave them a start. And I think that's really a large part of the conversation is like college sports are becoming pro sports. At least college football is, college basketball is going to become. And everyone hates it. No one wants a jersey sponsorship. I get that. But guess what? It's going to happen. So, my thought process is if we're the fun version of a jersey sponsorship and we are going to give 100 grand to a school that fucking needs it, then that's like a positive, right? I don't care if Ohio State gets another $10 million from Chase
Right.
Bank, right? Like, I don't care about that. If we can make an impact, and this is what Snapback's about, we do the unscalable. Us putting 100 grand into the local Louisiana Monroe community is about as dumb of a decision as a national brand can do, right? We don't want a headquarter at ULM. We don't want to, get that community obsessed with Snapback Sports because quite honestly, we probably aren't going to see a return from it. But what
Right.
we but at the same time, it's like, that's exactly what I wanna do, because if we change one program, if we tell one story, if we, like, have one moment where a young fan comes up to us and says, "You don't understand, I watch every ULM game, and this is our best season ever," or, "This is the coolest thing we've ever done," then it was probably worth it. And, maybe that makes me a bad business manager or bad business owner because the ROI is certainly not there. But I don't know. I think maybe there's still something left in sports and why we love it. So yeah, I'm excited to continue the conversation there and with all the other schools we've talked to.
What's been the hardest part about this process, just aside from getting the NCAA to approve
Yeah.
um, your guys' bounty?
Yeah. The hardest challenge is um, how do I describe it? So for those who don't know, and you probably know, but Playfly, Learfield, IMG, these are all names of companies who own the marketing rights to college athletic programs. So the way it works
Mhm.
is, let's say Ohio State, who's a Learfield property, they know they're super valuable. But up until a few years ago, these were nonprofit organizations. And so they didn't really care to make a ton of money. And so what they do is they sell their marketing rights to these companies who are conglomerates and they can go sell. They know the market value of Ohio Stadium. They know the market value of the Jersey Patch. They know the market value of the assets and the TV media rights and all this stuff, right? So they give them those rights. Now, what is what makes it a challenge for us is if I'm going to ULM and their rights are owned by Learfield, for example. What Learfield needs to do is essentially like hold the line. They need to set a market value of 200K for any school in this tier, right?
Mhm.
And so it makes more sense for them to not drop below it because they're trying to sell that package. Now, if ULM gets screwed because they're trying to hold the line, ULM gets screwed. But Learfield benefits with 8 other schools by holding the line, right? So even if a ULM wants to do the deal and sees the value in the content and sees the long-term vision and why this would be impactful for their program, they can't. And so that's just naturally going to be our biggest challenge is how do we sell to someone, essentially private equity, that you need to care about us and what we're doing? So that's going to be the biggest challenge. I don't want to say it's been a challenge to date because we haven't like had that issue, but I foresee that as a challenge.
What's been the response with some of the schools that you've reached out to? How have they reacted to your proposals?
Yeah, it's funny. We actually haven't gone out to market in terms of like, hey, would you be interested in us coming in? We've only received inbound and maybe not all the schools that we want inbound from. Like there's definitely some that we want. Um, but yeah, the response has been, I mean, there's cool emails, like there's interesting pitches, a lot coming from like FCS or smaller schools that are like, look, you guys may not we may not be D1, football in the Sun Belt Conference like a ULM, but Eastern Washington, we got red turf, and we have two players playing the NFC Championship, and we own the Washington market, at the FCF level, and it's like we could do more, right? Because they know they should do more, and the 100K would make a huge impact. So I don't know, it's cool, and there's no one that's reached out, at least I hope, that I've been, like, off-putting to and been like, "This isn't what we're looking for, like, fuck off." It's more, "Hey, you want us to sponsor your race car?" You're like a dirt bike league, and it's like, "Look, I appreciate the pitch," and when people see you promoting that you're gonna spend money in advertising, people start to come knocking, but yeah, it's been fun to kind of see which programs are ahead of the curve here.
Seems to me you've gotten a lot of response from the Sun Belt. Have you had like any of the major conferences reach out to you? Any of the P4?
No one in the P4 for on uniform. We have had one P4 reach out, who I don't want to say at this time, but because I just need to get clearance from them to kind of share. But
Right.
they're interested in more like athlete stuff. So like sponsoring the athletes and content with the athletes and stuff like that. Just because, quite frankly, like I wouldn't even ask for on uniform for a school like that. Like it's just a waste of their time because they're just that big. So last year we talked to Syracuse, we talked to Purdue. Um, I'm trying to think who else in the P4 we had any conversations with. The P4 may be too big for us for 100K. Like I'm not naive. Although I think there's probably one program in the P4 that like it would make sense for. But at the same time, I don't even know if I want to do the P4 because 100K at ULM goes so much further than even if we gave Purdue, once again, who's probably the worst of the on-field P4s, 100K. Okay, so they get another, running back. It's like they're not going to give a shit, right? So
Mhm.
um, we probably don't even want to go P4 unless the perfect opportunity kind of presents itself.
Be a cool video too if you were able to. Well, it would make for a cool documentary or a video
Yeah,
or whatnot if you're when you have one of your brand endorsements, whether it be for a player or for a school
well,
as a
big time.
whole, and it be a smaller school. I think that's what's more important, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Just helping that small school out as well, helping a G5 out because nobody really pays attention to them more, and it
right.
helps put not just put them on the map. Not only does it help them gain more viewership, not only does it get more engagement with people that may be interested in going to the school, but I think it also generates more revenue for them. And if the on field production increases from them, that means it's more of a revenue getter for y'all as well.
100%. 100%. Lucas, I gotta jump in a few minutes. I want to make sure I get to all your questions. So, any final thoughts you would love from me?
Yeah, one more. I just got one more for you, man. I mean, you're 28 or 29.
29, yeah.
29. You started this almost 10 years ago, so you're in college. Talk to the college students that are out there, the high school students that are thinking about getting into a media company or whatever it is. if you were to go back almost 10 years ago to when you first started this, what would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give? And what advice would you give to current college students now that we live in the world where you can pretty much promote your own business or social media or your media platform on via your phone? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is. That's what's so cool about this whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I always say, like, just get started. And it's easier said than done because, oh, well, I want my video to perform. I want, the editing to be good. I want the hook to be good. How do I do it? It's like, how'd you learn how to walk? You just had to take a fucking step, like you just have to start. And I get it. Like people are afraid to start. So if you can get over the hump, you don't need the next best editing. You don't need your first video to get 400 views. You need your first video to be posted online. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm sorry for yelling at the college kids, but I'm trying to stress the point,
Yeah.
of what I would tell myself. But the real tip would be, can you do this for the next 10 years without making a dollar? Like everyone takes a course or watches a video and it inspires them and they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna get started. What niche should I get into? What category should I talk about?" The problem is that, like, we've publicized creators and content and how much money they're making, which is good, that's good. What's bad is, okay, so when do I start monetizing? Do this if you weren't ever gonna monetize, and then your shit will be good. If you only build with the end goal being monetization, it won't work out, and I think that's like, we still embody that in our business. We're building a trivia app right now. Um, it costs us, I mean, after a year of work, which will be in, like, June, we'll spend $250,000 on it. Once again, this may just be a public, example of me being another poor business owner, as I said earlier, but we'll spend $250,000 developing this app. Not once have I thought about putting an advertisement in the app because I wanna make the best trivia app, sports games app ever, and I know for a fact that doesn't include ads in the first month, and I know for a fact we're not even close to doing that. So until we are driving so much value for our audience, for our users, I don't wanna make money off of them. When you drive value for others, that's when you monetize. So when I get the question, when should I start monetizing? The answer is, well, when do you think someone should pay you for this, right? And so we're not there yet with the trivia app. We'll get there. But yeah, the advice would be take a 10-year, like, are you talented enough? Are you skilled enough? And if I said, like, you did this for 10 years, you'd make it. Because what year one looks like, I watch videos of myself from year one, two, and three. I'm like, who the fuck was that? Speak with a semblance of energy or volume or whatever it is. Uh, but you have to be in it for the long haul, and that can be tough when you're 19, right? I never thought I'd make it 10 years doing this. I'm only at
Right.
8, but my favorite quote is this: "We overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, and we severely underestimate what we can do in 10."
Mm.
I still got 2 more years in my 10-year run, and you're telling me how good we are. Catch me in 2 years, Lucas. Then I'm gonna be like, "See what we can do in 10?" Like, 10 is a long time. So, take that long-term kind of vision and just day by day, stack the days.
Mm. I like that. I love that, man. I really do. Jack Settleman, CEO and founder of Snapback Sports, always appreciate you taking the time and talking with us, man. Follow
Of
him
course.
on the socials at Snapback Sports and at Jack Settleman. Man, we appreciate your time, man. You are awesome. We cannot wait to see what the future of Snapback Sports is going to look like, and we know that you're taking it into an incredible direction, brother.
I appreciate you. Have a great night.
You too, brother. Jack Settleman, CEO and founder of Snapback Sports, joining us for what was a very, very fun conversation, talking some business on the side of college football, and not just college football, college athletics as a whole. All right, Senior Bowl day number 1 has officially ended. I'll give you guys my takeaways, my overall winners from each, not necessarily position group, but from just the day as a whole. I'll kind of talk about it for a slight bit. Guys, I want to give a huge shout out. I mean, a massive shout out to arguably one of the best receivers right now in the Senior Bowl, and that is Ted Hurst. Guys, Ted Hurst is going to be a day 2 pick, and dude, he is electric. He is a dominant receiver, physical at the line of scrimmage, and he is a very clean route runner. I am so excited for what the rest of this week is going to look like for him. I hope that he stays for the rest of the week. I would expect him to do so because, guys, he's still got a lot to grow throughout the rest of this week, and he's got a lot to continue to develop on as we continue throughout the week. Quarterbacks. I don't really have a clear winner right now because, listen, he just isn't there. None of them really showed out. I like Sawyer. I thought he made some decent throws. Diego Pavia made some really tough throws. I thought Colt Payton had his moments as well. The second group, man, with Taylon Green and Garrett Nussmeier, Luke Altmaier, nothing really caught my eye. Nothing really was, in my opinion, impressive. So I really don't know just yet with what to think about them, with what to think about what they've done as a whole throughout the day. Again, we've still got, 2 more days left of practice. So hopefully these next 2 days are going to be just as good. I thought the competition was really good. I really did. The one-on-ones and the pass pro, thought it was excellent. I'll give you a couple of my winners from the defensive and offensive line. Let's start off with Michigan's Derek Moore. Dude, Derek Moore looked dominant throughout pass pro today. But I will say, had his ups and downs. Knocked big Markel Brown from Miami on his back, or Markel Bell on his back at the Senior Bowl. Guys, holy cow. I mean, he knocked him on his ass. Oof. He came in with a lot of power, dude, and that was impressive. Just to say the least, man. I mean, it was really, really impressive. Extremely impressive. The way he got off the football, just went speed to power. Almost the same thing that Mike Green did going up against the Oregon offensive tackle from last year. He's going to be a very special player. He really is. I thought Illinois showed out at times today. I look, man, I am extremely impressed with Gabe Jacas. Gabe Jacas really showed out. I thought he had some really good reps in pass pro. Thought he stood up, man, stood tall and got in a 4-eye and played as a defensive tackle, man. Thought he had some really solid reps in run support, and I thought he was physical today. Thought he was very, very physical. On the offensive line side, man, thought Jalen Farmer had some really good reps at guard. I think I would expect to move him a bit to tackle. Wouldn't be surprised if you see him bouncing around at that point in time. Gettings Dunker, man, there's a reason why people have him as a first-round grade offensive lineman. rep after rep. He's just ripping across the line. He's just ripping across in team period, getting great in 8 blocks throughout the time, climbing up to the second level. Not a whole lot of guys are being able to scrape across. Thought he did a solid job in that department, man. Thought he did really, really well um, at that offensive line position. I'm really, really excited to see him the rest of this week. I'm hoping that he stays. I don't want him to leave just yet. If he does, my heart might be broken because he's going to be he's something special. Jake Slaughter's the All-American center, and there's a reason why. Thought he had some really good things today. Thought he was very physical. Him and Caleb Banks went at it in pass pro, and he held his own for the most part. But I mean, that's what I'm expecting when you got two teammates going up against each other. Those are two dominant, two of the best interior offensive and defensive linemen in this year's NFL draft class. They're both going to be very special. Tim Keenan and LT Overton both got reps. Tim Keenan played more of that nose tackle / one tech defensive tackle role. Tim Keenan LT Overton was playing more of an edge presence. I was surprised that he didn't switch between 3 tech and 5. But again, I think he's going to continue to get some more reps at that point in the time. Let me tell you about this guy, man. And I was extremely, extremely impressed with Stanford's tight end, Sam Roush. Guys, Sam Roush had some really good routes today, working on guys like Jalen Kilgore. Don't matter who it was that he lined up against, he won every single battle that he played against. It was impressive. Very, very impressive, man. And that should give you a lot of confidence if you are an offensive lineman. I don't know what is going to happen the rest of this week from him, but dude, tight end wise, him and the Houston tight end, trying to remember that kid's name because I interviewed him earlier today and I feel really bad. Tanner Kazal. I still don't remember how you say his last name. But Tanner, I thought, had a really solid day of practice. I told him, man, you're one of the fastest rising stars in the NFL draft cycle. He is. Crazy as it sounds. But I think him and Sam Roush, two guys that I think they're going to be really, really good at the tight end position. Really think they're going to expect – I'm going to see a lot from them. Dude, Jalen McMurray, have a day. Thought he had some really good reps out there in pass pro. Here's some big disappointments that I thought. Guys, Chris Johnson got cooked. Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, All-American corner. Love his tape. Dude. Oh, my gosh. These Texas Tech receivers had his name. Caleb Douglas and Reggie Virgil were cooking the piss out of this dude. They just had their way with him, and he couldn't do hardly anything about it. Part of me felt bad, but another part of me is like, not really. But, hey, man. Hopefully he has a better day too, man. Bruh. I mean, part of me does feel bad, but another part of me is like, you've got to find ways to be better at your craft. You had a rough day today, but how do you recover? That's going to be the biggest thing that he's going to have to ask himself at the end of it all. Quarterbacks as a whole, I would say, is on a fall rate, but I pretty much expected it. I'll say this. I didn't think Taylor Green was bad. But, I mean, it goes back to the quarterback thing. Nobody really stood out, in my opinion. But that's just me. TJ Parker, dude, just continuing to build his name as a first-round draft pick. I thought he had a really good day today. I think this is his last day. I think he's gone after today. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if I don't see him in practice tomorrow. Keelan Rutledge had some moments, but other than that, man, I didn't see anything that was impressive to me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Who impressed you from today at Senior Bowl? Y'all make sure y'all do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe down below. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live. Post a new short or post a new video here on the Southern Sports Scene. Y'all thank you so much for having us on. And we will see you all tomorrow.